Sanibonani, Dumelang, Goeienaand, Molweni, it's Wednesday, back with another video.
So in this video, we're gonna discuss why most South Africans hate the middle class. So this came about after Munyaka residents in Waterfall were protesting for not having electricity for over 4 days.
Yeah.
And we saw a lot of hate comments from other black people. So we're gonna watch a quick clip and then we'll react to a few of their tweets and then we'll discuss why a lot of South Africans hate the middle class.
Protesters at Munyaka Waterfall. We don't have electricity, so the guys even put the price stands at the gates. Gents, quickly, you guys on live now. Why are you guys here? My brother, why are you here? What are you guys doing here?
There's nowhere else to be.
You're cooking at the gates in Waterfall, bro. In Waterfall. So yeah, guys, we have load shedding issues. We get that, but the problem is Bowen is taking us for granted. After the electricity comes back, we still have power outages, and they giving us excuses and telling us, hey, the issue it's Bowen, it's Eskom. I mean, so we decided to close the gate. No one is leaving, no one is coming in, no one is going out. And this is where the issue is. The stupid lifestyle with their lagoon is consuming so much power, and it's the reason why Abantu Bangana is. So yeah, it's a peaceful protest, I guess. Yeah, we even went as far as getting a price stand. So much as Prior Lana. I see M17 today. It is what it is. But yeah, for those of you who know Waterfall Munyaga, please don't come here, don't live here. People are paying over 15 grand rent for nothing. And there's no basic needs like water and electricity. Is an issue. Stupid place. But yeah, guys, it is what it is.
These clever blacks can't even go to Tembisa to charge their phones because they don't identify as black. They can't speak their own languages. They don't fit in our societies, yet they are black. How sad.
What do you think about the statement of saying that most these guys here don't identify as black? What do you think?
I think that's untrue.
Yeah.
I think the idea that, you know, only being from the hood and, you know, sticking to the hood and you know, like that is the actual identification of black. I feel like that's wrong. Like, you can't limit it to that. We're all black, but we have different upbringings as people in general. I get where they're coming from, though, like that person saying that. Like, they feel like, oh, maybe those people feel like they're better than people from the hood.
You touched on a very good point. There's this thing that happens when you grow up, especially if you grow up like in a suburban area and then you go to like a middle class school where there's a mixture of people from the hood and the suburbs and stuff like that. So people from the hood would generally bully or call the people from the suburbs like coconuts.
Yes.
Like, you know, all those things.
It would even be in families, like where maybe you had family members that were from the hood and you guys were from the burbs. Then there was that whole culture of bullying, you know, the ones from the suburbs on their accent or like, you know, just how they were in general.
So if you were not relatable to them at all,
they
would shame you for that and say that you're not black enough. And too much. You can't talk your language. Coconut, black on the outside but white on the inside.
And of which, to be honest, for if you think about it, like those things, they weren't necessarily wrong in saying them. Do you know what I mean? Like, yes, it's bullying, but like I'm just thinking about it outside the bullied person's perspective, for instance, or like the bullying. Nah, I'm looking at it like on the it's great to be able to preserve black, right? And black or Africanness, or let me say Africanness, right? Because black can be anywhere or whatever, but Africanness is it has a lot to do with culture and language and things like that. So it used to always be or looked shameful if you were an African person of whatever tribe or South African tribe and you couldn't speak your language. It was kind of bad because it is important for a person to know your roots, to know your culture. You know what I mean? And to some extent, that type of bullying did kind of make sense, right? Because, I mean, yes, English is great and whatever, you know, but know your language. You know, your language is also very important for you to know.
Yeah. So I want to get to the crux of like this whole thing.
Yeah.
As to why a lot of South Africans hate the middle class.
Yeah.
So for the most part, the majority, which is like Black South Africans, are literally living under the poverty line.
Yep.
Or straggling around the poverty line.
Yep.
So they are poor. People are poor, and then it forces people to stay in the hood and hustle all the time to get whatever they want.
And
then,
life is not easy.
Yeah, and then you have the other side, which is like mostly rich, mostly white people, and most of them are rich. Most of them come from well-off families. Most of them are doing well for themselves.
Yes.
And then now you have like this little subsection.
The middle class, the people in the middle.
Yeah, you have this little subsection that
they're
doesn't
not
fit.
quite poor, they're not quite rich.
Yes, but they just living.
Yes.
They're doing okay for themselves. So obviously the poor people will look at them like they're not one of them because they're living a different life. They have different struggles. So for example, one of the reasons why I think the poor people or most South Africans hate the middle class is that most South Africans, when they go through like their struggles and they fight with service delivery, the middle class does not generally get involved.
Yes.
Because they do not have the same
doesn't
problems.
directly affect them at that point.
Yes.
You don't feel the pinch of a lot of the things that are happening. Like the electricity going and water going. It's only now recent when we see a lot of suburban areas crying about electricity, crying about water. I think that's what you're saying is really, really true. That's what angers a lot of what's considered lower class being mad at middle class, because it's like, well, we always protesting, we always doing all these things, you know, fighting for service delivery, fighting for things to work, you know, fighting for water, we're fighting for toilets, we're fighting for basic necessities, fundamental things that human beings should have. And it's like, well, you guys are fine because you have it, you know, you have all of that, you have the basic needs met and some wants as well, you know, so you better off. And it's like, well, why should we pity you when you in trouble? Or like, you know what I mean? And it's difficult though to have an expectation of the middle class to be protesting on everything. Every time the lower class protests, then the middle class also protests. Because let's be realistic, as human beings, if something is not affecting you, you're not gonna.
You don't care, basically.
You don't care. Like, yes, it can hurt you. You see it at a distance, like, ish, you know, that would really suck if I was in that situation. And it's like, yes, you're gonna feel the warmth of your house. You're gonna enjoy your lights coming on. People protesting about lights, and you know, all of that. It's not really relevant to you. Your heart will go out to them because it's like, you know, that's not a nice situation. But like, let's be realistic. A person's not gonna go fight another person's fight that it's not necessarily they fight at that point.
So now when the middle class now is fighting their own battles, the lower class is like actually happy and rejoicing at the fact that the middle class is also going through the same struggles they go through. Yeah. And okay, then the second thing I think is that there's a difference in the way in thinking between the lower class and middle class. So that's why the lower class would generally call the middle class like the clever blacks. They call them the clever blacks because the lower class thinks that the middle class thinks that they're clever.
Yeah.
Whenever the lower class protest and they do these things, like, they usually shut down things. Yeah. They vandalize property.
And
they
loot. What the middle class will deem as like barbaric behavior or things like that, or like
so the middle class would generally say that it's wrong to destroy property when protesting. It's wrong to loot and all that stuff like that.
And of which nobody actually wants to be in the position of doing those things. It's like, we're just at that point, well, it's almost like they don't have a choice. That's the only way that they ever heard, you know? If they come with the silent protests, nothing happens. Nobody cares. Nobody listens until they do vandalize things. And then it's like, so what is the government actually saying? Do you know what I mean? So it's like, well, then they are caught in that cycle as well, that this is how we are heard. So we're going to keep doing this because this is the only way that we are heard.
Yeah, so there's also just that disconnect because just in the way of thinking and the way of doing things, there's a disconnect between middle and lower class. Yeah. So I think that's why also the lower class don't like the middle class. This was just a very interesting topic that came across on Twitter during the whole Baldwin Properties scandal. And yeah, I just saw a whole lot of black people hating on the middle class, and I thought it'd be interesting to discuss. But you guys, let us know what you think about this whole situation.
Yeah, let us know, guys. Deep down, honestly, we all in the same fight. We are all in the same fight. It's just like
literally different levels to it.
Different levels, and because we know of the segregation that's created beyond us people, that is making us fight with each other, and that is all by design, as you were saying. So yeah, as you said, let us know what you think, guys.
Don't forget to like, subscribe,
and keep watching. Goodbye.
We'll check you guys in the next one.